Food prices in October rose, and they rose quite significantly, almost 4%. This is rather new because for the last several months, I would say, we've had basically a declining trend in prices. So in that sense, the increase in October was significant. Interestingly, all commodities, with the exception of meat, where prices were rather steady, rose. But what was very notable was the increase in sugar values. Sugar quotations were up almost over 17%, and I would say that this was the biggest increase we've seen since February earlier this year. The increase in sugar prices was definitely a very significant factor behind the overall jump in the FAO food price index, but we also had quite a significant rise in dairy market. Milk prices rose on output fears in New Zealand. We had increases in palm oil prices, also related to possible reductions in the future output, weather related, and also grain prices, especially wheat and maize, gained over the month of October compared to September. It is always difficult to generalize when you have different commodities. In fact, when you have crops and you have goods like meat and dairy, obviously there are different factors at play when you have this type of increases. But one general theme is the weather, which has played quite a crucial role in recent, let's say, price changes. However, we need to underline that the weather issue very much affects what is going to happen in the future and not what has happened in October or in the previous months. Is the expectation that El Nino, adverse weather conditions in many important regions around the world, is going to curb output in 2016. You take sugar, for example, the excessive rains in the southern parts of Brazil is going to deem the outlook for very good crop that was expected earlier in Brazil. So this obviously has some impact on the sugar market. In the case of the palm oil, you have the same situation in Indonesia, where palm oil is basically harvested all throughout the year. But the fact that the market anticipates that the dry weather is going to curb output in the months to come is already having an impact on that sector. For the grains, wheat, for example, you have a situation where very dry conditions in southern Russia, in many parts of Ukraine, is causing concern, and we already know that planting is down quite a bit, and that 2016 crop could actually fall quite below the 2015 levels. So basically, in combination, there is this let's call it the weather fear factor, which is right now very dominant in moving prices. It is a difficult call. Prices really went down sharply, and I would say they've been continuing to go down for over a year now. When you look at the current supply and demand situation, and if we take cereals, for example, which is a very important food security crop, into consideration, we published today our latest data. And although we lowered a little bit production, we didn't see reason to cut reserves. And the overall situation still remains very good, favorable, supplies are good. So you would say that there shouldn't be much of a reason for fear, for concerns. And yet the market reacts. Markets tend to focus on bad news more than on the good news. Markets anticipating 2016 may not be as nice as 2015, so we are seeing some developments there. Therefore, if you look at the overall supply, even for sugar, where today there is a problem, the stock situation is okay. Yes, we may be going to a bit of a deficit situation in 2016-17. However, there is enough reserves, so there shouldn't be really, I would say, a very important reason for big price increases. But commodities cost to produce, so farmers need to get the return. When prices fall so much, the planting decisions could be affected. So there are a lot of other factors at play that will make this market feel like probably we have reached the bottom. So probably prices from now on may get a bit strengthened. But I would emphasize the term a bit. I don't think that there is any reason for any cause for a huge concern today that we're going to see all of a sudden a sharp increases in prices, be it for El Nino or other factors. However, there is probably good reason to think that prices could start getting a little bit stronger as we proceed the rest of this year.